Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. We got some huge news for the Mimic today, so let's get started. So Muck made an announcement about a Mimic vote, and here's what the message says. He says, question for Jealousy Chapter 3, release Part 1 as soon as we can this month maybe, or not split it into two parts and release later in November. So later in this video I'm going to tell you what I think is the best option for this, but let me tell you what both the options mean. So if you vote number 1, that means they will release part 1, possibly I would say around Halloween or very early November, which will have a cliffhanger, and then they'll release part 2 about a month or two later, or maybe even a couple weeks after. The second option would mean that the Mimic Chapter 3 gets delayed until later in November, however we'll get both parts together with no cliffhangers. So I voted for number 1, and the reason I voted for number 1 is because I just think it will spread out the content a little bit more, and we won't have as much of a content drought between Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. I actually think a cliffhanger is fine, and I actually weirdly like the idea of a cliffhanger and will give us something to talk about after the chapter ends. And I always find that the coolest part of the Mimic is like right before the release, all the hype going into the release. So that means if we vote for part 1, we'll get 2 big hype moments. There also is some benefits for part 2, which is the no cliffhangers. If you're not a fan of cliffhangers, part 2 is definitely a cool option. And we won't have to wait in between content, however the content will take longer to release. Personally, for me, I'm really hoping that they release it in 2 parts with the cliffhanger. I just think that would work for me, and there'll be a lot of cool content coming out of that, and there'll be 2 massive hype moments, which I think will be really cool for the Mimic. Because once everyone, and this I think it's the first time it's ever happened, once everyone has completed Chapter 3, and that usually takes about a week or 2 to complete it all on Normal and Nightmare and play through it a couple of times, we are going to get the next part, which is another big content update. So for about a month, we're going to have a ton of Mimic content with this. I'm really excited for this, and I hope that the number 1 vote wins. As I'm recording this, it looks like number 1 is winning by 1,000 votes. It's 29,006 to 1,706 for number 2. So we are winning by a little over 1,000, which is pretty good. So I'm going to be promoting number 1 because I just think it's a cool idea. But you guys vote for whichever one you think is best. And as always, as soon as the update comes out, I will be live streaming it. Also, go check out my video on the newest chapter of Short Creepy Stories. Really cool video. Definitely think it's worth the watch. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video. And as always, subscribe, like, and turn on those notifications. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.